On this episode of the Juice Box Heroes, we talk about the winter meeting fallout. What does this mean for the Astros going forward in the offseason? Let's go. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. It is the Thursday episode of the Juice Box Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. As always, we now have just Chris and Sweet Bee Bones Bryles with us. Fellas, how was y'all's week?
Oh, man, it was pretty good. Kind of busy, getting ready. Looking forward to tomorrow with our end of year lunch at work. Besides that, busy weekend, but that's all I got. Bryles, how's your week going?
It's been going good. It's been busy. Thanks for the handoff, just Chris. Appreciate that.
Right.
But yeah, it's it's just been super busy at work, getting year and stuff wrapped up. That's been about it. Looking forward to Little League action coming up this spring. Got the registration done for that, and it's been about it. PK, how about you, buddy?
Busy week. Busy with a lot of windshield time this week, man. I've been as far west as Brookshire, and then today drove out to Port Arthur and back home. So
the PAT.
A lot of windshield time this week, but it's all good, man. Getting ready. I got one more week of work, and then it's off for 2 weeks, so I'm okay. Let's get into this thing, man. So we all talked about it on Sunday. We had the winter meetings starting this week. A lot of anticipation about, how many days into the meeting is Jake Myers going to be an Astro, right? Any other potential moves? Starting pitching, right? We talked about that. And I mean, there's even reports of the Astros targeting starting pitching, right? In either a free agent market or a possible trade. Spoiler alert, Jake Myers is still an Astro, and you did not sign any starting pitching. So you did see other teams make some moves. So Chris, let's see what was your first reaction, we'll get into some of the overall MLB moves and just kind of glance at them. But overall, what's your feeling about what went down this week as a Houston Astro fan?
Well, like a schmuck, I went ahead and I bought the $7 MLB package that included the MLB network so I could watch the winter meetings these last 3 days. And I feel like that was $7 poorly spent because not really anything happened. Now, again, I understand the Astros probably weren't going to go after and sign these big free agents, and I doubt these big free agents were going to sign, even though a couple of them did. But I just wanted to see something happen, like whether it was a Jake Myers trade, whether it was, all the rumors about Paredes. It's just like, but like the more I kind of watched it, the more I was kind of like, man, I just kind of wish we had an idea of what the Astros were doing. Because you have Jim Crane talking about the window's always open, but it's like we're spending or not spending, like it's like we're not acting like a team that the window's open. So it's just kind of like, I wish they would just let us know, what are we doing, just so that way I can kind of have an idea of the direction of this team. I mean, because it was a whole lot of refreshing Twitter. The Astros Twitter was a lot more exciting than the actual winter meetings itself. But, I mean, it was kind of hard to top, what happened last year at the winter meeting. So with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Bryles. Bryles, what did you think of the super not action that went on for the Houston Astros?
That's about how I feel about it. So, there was a whole lot of non-action. And yes, I believe you paid $7 for the equivalent of watching baseball C-SPAN. So that probably wasn't worth it either. There were a lot of moves, obviously, for other teams. For the Astros, there wasn't really a whole lot going on at all. So, we do have some stuff to talk about as far as the winter meetings and the few moves that were made by us. And then we also have some moves that could possibly impact what we're going to do moving forward before we get to spring training, as the hot stove hopefully starts to heat up for the Astros. It hasn't heated up by any means yet, but there's definitely some news out there. So yeah, I just look forward to getting into, kind of the minutia of this, and we'll go from there. PK, what'd you see?
I mean, I saw a designated hitter get paid 5 years, 150 million. That's what I saw, right? Stay with Philly. I was a little bit shocked that Myers didn't move, honestly, right? I mean, that was probably the only thing that I think that I was probably leaning towards actually happening, right? Was the potential move for Myers. So a little bit shocked that he didn't get moved. Either more than likely, obviously they didn't, there wasn't as big of a market for him as anticipated, or the haul that they were going to get back was not as much as they anticipated. So not to say that he won't still get moved, right? But usually during those the winter meetings, you start seeing dominoes fall around the league, and that sort of tends to speed up some potential deals that were just kind of hanging there on the edge, right? In our case, it didn't. I didn't think the Astros were going to be a big spender during the winter meetings, right? Or like I said, the only move I was thinking about was the Myers move potentially, right? So yeah, that was pretty it, man. I mean, you go into I watched it on Tuesday, the winter meetings, most of the day. I didn't pay the $7, but I still watched it, right? It was pretty cool to get a lot of just kind of a lot of interviews with all the head coaches. I mean, Espada was on there for a minute. He talked about Altuve playing primarily at second base this year, right? Where Jordan was where Jordan's going to be primarily the DH. And so then he talked about Paredes playing a potential second, third, and first, right? And so there's a little bit of stuff to unpack there, because it's I think he's too good of an at bat to not be able to be on the field the whole time, especially if you're going to have Jordan and DH. But we can get into that in a little bit, right? So it was pretty cool to watch. A little disappointed that we didn't see any moves, but then when it ends like it did with nothing going on, it still should kind of remind us that this is why the Astros are the Astros, right? They're not going to go out there and back a Brinks truck up to get a Dylan Cease, right? They're not going to do that 7-year 210. You know what I'm saying? And so as fans, we want that starting pitching. We need that starting pitching. We want to see that big move. And so when stuff doesn't happen, it kind of reminds us this is why the Astros are the Astros, right? They're kind of a mid-market team as far as the payroll. Even though Crane spends a lot, he is still really smart in the fact that he is not going to overspend where on these contracts where you have the last 3 to 4 years of that contract, you're overpaying some pitcher to basically suck, right? He wants to get the best 5 years out of that guy, get the most value from him, maybe flip him, but more than likely we've seen it in the past where they'll let him walk, right? They'll let the player walk. We've seen that with our core guys. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen between now and spring training. There's still a lot of players out there, on the market. Just because the meetings are over doesn't mean that the moves end, obviously. So we'll kind of see what happens going forward, right? We did have a draft pick though. Rule 5 draft was on. Is that today? That was yesterday. Yesterday, right? Chris,
Yesterday,
Chris watched
Wednesday.
it.
Yeah.
Nerd.
I did watch it.
Nerd alert.
Yeah. So we ended up selecting the pitcher from Chicago. Or no, it was the Cincinnati Reds, Roddery Munoz. Definitely going to be one of those guys that are low risk, high reward kind of guys. Last year, I think he scored a scorching Cy Young worthy 8.18 ERA. The big thing with him is obviously he's going to need to work on his command. But, you can't teach 100 miles an hour. And that's the main thing. Kid throws like 100 miles an hour. So that's the guy they picked. They made a couple of minor league selections in the minor league portion of the Rule 5 draft, but I seriously doubt nobody wants to hear about that. But, so you left the winter meetings with a guy who's you're probably gonna see him in the bullpen coming out, probably going into spring training. So everything I read, the kid's got good stuff. Like I said, he's just got to work on the command. So
why don't you? If y'all don't know what the Rule 5 draft is, what, Chris or Braz, you explain the Rule 5 draft.
Okay,
go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so essentially the Rule 5 draft consists of it's a handful of players, and I'm not going to try to nerd it out to get all the specific rules, But basically, if you're selected from the Rule 5, you have to remain on that team's 40-man roster the entire season, or that player is to be returned back from the team that they were selected from. So that is just the kind of cliff notes on essentially what the Rule 5 draft is. I mean, there's a lot of rules and how players qualify, but again, that could be a podcast in its own. So we're just going to keep it on the surface. So this kid Munoz has to stay on the 40-man roster the entire season. So either A, you could trade him, or B, he's got to go back to the Cincinnati Reds.
Yep, good point. Good job, Chris.
And I did do a little bit of homework on him once we got him. And I will say you were right. He did have some control issues, especially in the minor leagues. However, after the All-Star break in AAA last year, his ERA was 2.45 with an average of 11.5 Ks per 9. So he turned it around after the All-Star break. So if he can do that in the big leagues, I mean, come on.
Yeah, and like we've said before, if there's any coaching staff or pitching staff that could turn around a pitcher, it's definitely the Astros. I mean, so like, it's not a sexy name, but this could be a guy that could be nails toward maybe he's your seventh inning guy out of the bullpen. Could be. He's got the potentials there. I mean, so I don't hate the pick. I just wish it wasn't the only thing that we had to report of coming out of the winter meetings. So,
well, I think, like you said, man, it's anytime the Astros go out and select a pitcher or, you know, make a move, like, you know, trade for, you know, some type of pitcher, right? Whether it's in the minors or whatever, even with Iniel De Los Santos last year, right? There's always that benefit of the doubt that the Astros are going to come in with this guy and turn him around, and he's going to, you know, outperform his initial, you know, value or what he had done before, right? So high ERA. When I was talking to Chris about it, like offline, you know, he was like, yeah, he had an 8-point-something ERA, you know, not a lot of command, a little wild. And I'm like, sweet. Okay. He's like, but he throws like 100. And I said, well, why don't you lead with that? You know, lead with that. And then let's talk about all the crap after that. Right. So, and just like you said, like you don't teach 100-mile-an-hour fastball, right? Like the guy has it or he doesn't. Right. So put him in the lab, get some control, get some command, and then see what happens. I mean, you have to see what happens. Like you said, he's got to stay on the 40-man roster, so you have to see what the guy can do. So interesting to see, man.
Just get him a pair of like black horn rim glasses with the skull and crossbones right on the bridge.
That's right.
Just don't give him any fake dreadlocks, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of fake dreadlocks, I mean, he was. I think he met with the Orioles over the week. Oh, there was at least those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, but I really don't care. I think he met with a couple teams. I think he met with the Baltimore. I think he met with San Francisco too. But yeah, I really don't care where Fromber goes. Just go ahead and get us that 4th rounder. I don't care. Like, I get it. Whatever. Yeah, I don't care. I'm more interested in the rumors that took place. I mean, there was Shane Baz had some good run as far as one of the pitchers the Astros are interested in. The two lefties or the two young kids from Boston got some good run. The twilight portion of the winter meetings, Freddie Peralta got some good run from the Brewers. That's going to be an expensive trade, and you'd only have him for this season. Now with Polar Bear signing with Baltimore, now the news is like, I mean, like, and that's the thing too. It's like as us as Astros fans, we're kind of disappointed that nothing happened, but the Mets fans, they have to be pretty disappointed.
They lost their closer, much.
And they lost Pete Alonso. So now what's getting run today is the fact that now the Mets need a first baseman. Well, hey, Steve Cohen, what's going on? I got a first baseman for you. And the whole Christian Walker potentially for Kodai Senga, that's got some run, although you'd probably have to, that's not equal value straight up. You probably would have to throw something in with it to get Kodai Senga, because I think he still has at least 2 years left on his deal. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously I'm done with Fromber. I don't care where he goes. I'd rather talk about the potential, what we could see come to actually play next season in an Astros uniform. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, cool. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, look, I don't need you to be yelling. You ended with dreads, and I just took that, my friend. Okay? So it's kind of your
That's fair.
fault that you got upset.
I'll take that one. That one's on me.
Yeah.
But that was good.
Put the soapbox back up.
I will say that was a good segue, though. By the way, the Mets have been rumored to get Fromber as well. So I'm telling you right now, if anybody would be perfect for the Mets, Fromber is perfect for the Mets. Head case, go out there, throw, one really good game and then give up 9 runs on the next game in 3 innings.
And then get destroyed by the media.
Oh, just absolutely hammered. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did bring up a really good point in the fact that, with Pete Alonso going out and Christian Walker kind of dangling him out there, I think that's almost the perfect marriage if you think about it, because 1, yes, they do need a first baseman. 2, you've got an owner who's got more money than he knows what to do with. So we could possibly, if he really, really wants Christian Walker for whatever reason, I think we could get away scot-free on that, actually get a couple of pitching prospects. I don't know about Senga. Senga is expensive too. Don't forget about that part. But at the same time, they do have some other, number 4, number 5 pitchers that we could potentially look at in something like that and get Christian Walker off the books. So I think that would be a perfect trade partner as far as that's concerned. I think it's probably the best one in all of baseball right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But I honestly, I don't think anything could have gone better for the Astros than Alonso signing away from the Mets and then putting that doubt in the back of their head saying, now what are we going to do? And then, of course, we can say, like, hey, guess what? Look at what we got. Here you go.
Well, hell, Boston needs a first baseman too, though. There's, but
no, Boston has Tristan Costas, though.
Yeah,
unless they're looking to move on from him.
But
yeah,
Boston
he was hurt last year, so they really don't.
He was in on. They were in on Alonso before he went. Look, Alonso was supposed to meet with the Orioles and Boston down there in Florida, right? He flew down there to meet with both of them. So I don't know who he met with first, but there was already interest from Boston as well, right? So,
if you guys think that we don't know what we're doing, the Red Sox have zero idea what they're doing. They would be the team that would be like, oh, hey, we've already got a really good first baseman. Let's go sign another one. Why not? Come on.
Well, I don't want to break down Boston's. I understand where they're coming from, but I wanted to kind of talk about your comments about Kodai Sengai. So here's the thing: is I think he's only I almost think at the most those contracts wash, and I would rather have 2 more seasons of Kodai Sengai than I would.
Heck yeah.
Christian Walker. So what I don't want to do, I don't mind trading Christian Walker for a couple of small pieces, but I think the Astros aren't looking for a number 5. They're looking for a solid number 2, maybe a number 3 that you can flip flop either him or Christian Javier. That's what I'm thinking. So if it's like Christian Walker and let's say it's I don't know, Miguel Uola for Kodai Senga, do you make that trade? Probably. I think I would.
That would stings.
But what would sting more is if, with the rumors coming from Boston that they were super interested in Paredes, which means that they're not, I take that as they're not super, they're not like as locked in thinking that they're going to bring back Bregman. So if we were to trade Paredes, yes, we would get better value back, but that's on the heels of letting Urias go. And basically, like, if you trade Paredes, then what was the point of I get the Dubon trade, but what was the point of letting Urias go? Because there's your utility guy. So I think it makes more sense to reach out to the Mets and say, hey, we have Christian Walker, even though Senga's already said he wanted to stay in New York. But I feel like if they're going to try to move on for him to go get Ranger Suarez or Michael King, if you go out there and you just got to add another pitcher to the mix to go get Senga, I absolutely pull the trigger on that trade. Get you a solid number 2, number 3, or whatever, flip-flop with Christian Javier. And I think that's a win-win for everybody. The Mets get their first baseman so their fan base sees what they're doing. We get Christian Walker off the books. That means Paredes is our everyday first baseman, and we get another solid pitcher for the rotation. That's a perfect scenario to me. Not trading Isak Paredes after you've already moved 2 utility guys. PK, what do you think?
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm like. Send him to New York. Put Paredes at first. I mean, I was just thinking, as you're talking about, I was thinking about like our infield, right? You have Correa, Pena, Altuve, Paredes, right? And then of course, Yiner behind the plate. I mean, even though we saw a little bit of decline with Walker's defense, right? And I'm not even scoring that. I'm just looking at it offensively. The decline is going to be a lot faster, obviously, for Walker relative to Paredes, right? So we already are paying. How old is he? Mid-30s. He's mid-30s, 33, right? Somewhere in there, 34, somewhere in there.
I think it's 34 now. Yeah, I think it's
right.
34 now.
So you're on the hook 3 years for 60, right? You have the control over Paredes from the trade that you got with Chicago. If you can move him, you move him. Walker, that is. You move him. Keep the control. You got 2 years left with Correa. Pena is still not up for an extension. Altuve's set, and then you have 3 years of control on Paredes. I mean, that's a damn good infield, man. Damn good infield. I do that. I send it.
Yeah. I mean, even if it costs your favorite minor league pitcher, Miguel Uola, you send it.
You know what? That was on Sunday. Today, I don't know. I don't
Today's
know.
A new day. Today's a new day.
New day. Today's Thursday.
There you go. I like it. I like it. What do you guys think about bringing in Shane Baz? Because that got a lot of run over the winter meetings as well. I don't know. I don't think it ever got to who Tampa Bay was interested in, but I would assume it'd probably be prospects. I would assume with Tampa. So what would you think of if? What would you? I don't know. They just signed Cedric Mullins. So
yeah.
What would you think if they came up to you and said, "Hey, for Shane Baz, we want." Let's say Miguel Uola, Bryce Matthews, and let's just say 2 more prospects that are on the AA team.
Yeah,
as long as it's not Walker. As long as it's not Walker Yannick, then yeah.
What if it is Walker Yannick?
Well, let's not get too greedy.
Shane Baz, Baz, I think he's I think he's got to be 26, and you probably still have 2 or 3 years of control on him. I mean, so this is a guy that you could easily fix like you did Garrett Cole. I'm not saying he's going to be Garrett Cole. He's from Houston, so you got a hometown kid. I mean, but
that's what I was just about to say.
I would say Kodai Senga is a little bit more proven than Shane Baz is. He's also a little bit more older than he is as well. So
I take the youth.
It's weighing the options. You take the
youth.
Here's
the deal. Yeah. Here's the deal with Baz. You're right. He is a little bit younger. I think his stuff is a little bit better, to be honest with you, but just with injuries and what happened to him, in the last season and a half, he hasn't had the best numbers, but if you see his stuff, I mean, he definitely passes the eye test. So I definitely want him. And not only that, he's even come out and said his dream is to play for the Astros. He's wanted to play for the Astros since he was a little kid. So go get this guy. So, yeah, I can definitely see Bryce Matthews going in that. We are thin, obviously, in our pitching staff, so I would hate to see Uola go. If he does have to go as part of that package, that's fine. But, let's not sell what little of the farm we still have left to try to go and get him. I know one of the things that Tampa was talking about, again, even though you said Cedric Mullins, they still were talking about Jake Myers. They were also talking about Lowry coming over here in that trade as well. So I have no idea what kind of a package they're looking for. But, I mean, knowing Tampa, especially over the last, 10 seasons, what they want is young, controllable talent. So my guess would be they're going to try to pick apart anything that we've got in AAA. And just as you even mentioned, the both of you, they're going to probably try to dip in to the Corpus Christi Hooks and pick a couple of guys out of there that they see have fantastic potential and go from there. But if that's what it's going to take to get Shane Baz on our team and in our rotation, I'm all for it. bring this kid on, man. He wants to pitch for Houston. And not only that, I think he would be a huge acquisition for our rotation.
All right, so we're pro Shane Baz for Uola, Bryce Matthews, and who? Walker.
I said pick 2.
Player to be named later.
All right.
Yeah, a couple of other guys.
Cash.
Well, see, you brought up Walker Yannick, PK, and that kind of leads to a segue. So I don't know if you guys put out, there was a roster, or like the Astros winter meetings update by I think his name Brian McTaggart, who writes for the Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Victor Caratini. Now we've heard Dana Brown talk about basically the second the season over that one of their main things was to go bring back Victor Caratini. Now, I believe his contract was 2 years, $12 million, because I remember everybody said that we overpaid for him a little bit with him making $6 million. So that article also said that right now they might pivot because his number is no longer $6 million. I don't have a number, but I've heard that that he's asking for more than what I think the Astros are willing to give him. So here's the question. Because you really don't have a backup catcher right now. I mean, you have Cesar Salazar that's down in AAA. Honestly, I watched the Rule 5 draft because I thought they were going to go grab a catcher, and that was going to be Yainer Diaz's backup. Do you pay? So if he's asking for $9 million for 2 years, so 2 year 18, are you paying $9 million? Or are you giving him the same treatment basically that Dubon got? Hey, we're not going to give a backup $7+ million a year. And if not Caratini, do you go internally with Cesar Salazar? Or do you go try to find somebody, maybe a free agent catcher, or do you try to go trade for a catcher? Because, I mean, I would say Walker Yannick's probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years away.
Yeah.
So you got to have something temporarily. So that's what I want to hear. What do you guys think? And PK, we'll start with you.
Yeah, let me
do some research real quick and get back with me.
Yeah, let me just read this. Victor Caratini's salary expectations for 26 are not explicitly stated, but he did sign the 2 year contract worth $12 million with the Astros. If he were to sign with the Tampa Bay Rays, a $15 million contract would be a possibility. And then additionally, the Astros are reportedly considering offering him a $14 million contract extension to keep him past the 25 season. I think if you $7 million is a lot.
So is that, hold on, real quick. So is that 14 a year, or is that 14 over 2?
That had to be for 2.
It has to be for 2. It's got to be. I mean, they're not going to pay him for 1 year, $14 million.
It doesn't. It doesn't say. I don't think his salary doubled. He was that good.
No. It doesn't say that. Sorry. But anyways, I don't think you pay a $7 million. You know, I think if he wants to, he had some good at bats for us, some very clutch at bats for us, right? I mean, we all like the guy. I mean, switch hitting catcher, right? Good, pretty good defender at first base. Like I said, a solid bat for sure. I think, you start seeing the success that he has, and you're just going to you need to let him walk, I think. And then you just, you can either go back with Cesar, right, as your backup, continue to, work with Walker, right? Because you say another year and a half, 2 years, he may be ready, right? And who knows? Walker could have one of those seasons where he springs through the system fairly quickly.
Absolutely.
Just like Zach Cole did at the end of the season, right? So you could see a few at bats. Who knows? I'm of one that, if you're going to spend money, you spend money on, your everyday players, right? Don't overpay for your backups. Continue to work the farm, and improve the farm, develop the guys, give them, the shots when they can. So if the salary for me goes up to 7+ per year, then I think you let you let Victor walk.
Okay.
So I'm going to disagree with you. The reason I say that, and don't get me wrong, I understand that last year was the most injury-riddled season the Astros have had ever. But at the same time, he basically was an everyday player. I mean, we can call him a backup all we want, but if he wasn't catching, he was playing first base. If he wasn't playing first base, he was the DH. So, I mean, he was basically playing every single game and succeeding at it. he looked better, honestly, than Yanir did last year. So, I think it's actually kind of a steal that we get him for $7 million a year, just giving us the insurance that not only can he cash play first in DH, I mean, the guy's going to hit too. So if we don't end up signing him, I guarantee you somebody else will. And if he does walk and go somewhere else and gets the exact money that he wants, he's going to end up starting for whatever team that is. But, to have him as that asset just in case somebody gets hurt, or just to plug him in any one of those three spots, knowing that he's going to hit and, hit with a little bit of power too from the catcher position, I'll take it for $7 million. Now, also keep in mind, we don't know what the budget is. So, Crane has talked to Dana Brown, I'm sure, and said, okay, listen, this is how much money you've got to play with. Here's your sandbox. Go have at it. Or I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming it's pretty close to that. So I don't know if signing him for $7 million per is going to prevent us from bolstering our starting pitching or from anything like that. But, having that insurance, I honestly, I would sign him just based upon his performance that he's had in an Astros uniform.
Okay, well here's my rebuttal to that. So hang on, Chris.
Yeah,
here's my rebuttal to that.
Too. I had one too.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, so if you let's say let's just say you don't move Walker, you don't move Paredes, and now you've got a $7 million backup Caratini, who played a lot of first base, and you're right, like he played a lot between those three, right? Because we all know Espada gives these guys a day off after day off after day off, right? So if you have a Paredes and if you have a Walker, and if Paredes isn't playing third, so he's playing first, I mean, and Yiner's catching, so then you kind of see what I'm getting at. You have three guys. You have a log jam, and then Caratini's not getting the at bats or the playing time, right? Or he's taking at bats and playing time from other guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough situation. I still think. I mean, I agree with all your points because I mean he did like Yiner Dieter's got a lot of days off and a lot of days off relative, and I mean days off in the sense of not catching every day. Because you're right, because Caratini, they split them, and if one was catching, the other one was DH and vice versa, right? So a lot of great points. I just think like if you bring it back and you still have the other two guys, you've created a log jam, and now someone's going to get left out. They're getting left out on the ABs, and then you just have a expensive guy sitting on the bench, no matter who it is.
And I totally agree with you on that. I that is the one thing I don't want to see. I don't want him to sign for $7 million per on a 2-year contract, and the only thing he's doing is chewing sunflower seeds on the side of the dugout. So that's the last thing we want to see.
Yeah. So my rebuttal, I have 2 points on this rebuttal. Number one, every bit of extra money, to my understanding, is going to go towards starting pitching. So that pretty much kills that. The big thing you said is that he played every day, basically every day. Why? Because of the 3,227 injuries that we had last year. He played if he wasn't DH, if he wasn't playing catcher, he was DHing. Why was he DHing? Because Jordan was hurt. Now, I would like to think that the Astros aren't going to have the 3,127 injuries. So essentially, to basically piggyback what PK said, is that unless you have the plethora of injuries, he's going to be a backup. If you don't have those injuries, he doesn't log the amount of at-bats that he logs because Jordan's DHing. Now, again, to kind of tiptoe and to be honest with you, Jordan's about one more injury away from being injury prone. I mean, that's just being real.
Yeah,
so
fair.
Maybe it's not a bad idea to have someone like Caratini as a backup in case Jordan gets hurt. However, I just feel like I don't want to say a perfect universe, but in your typical universe, if you're fighting for Paredes to be in the lineup every day because he's playing different positions, it's going to be extremely tough to try to fight to fit Caratini in there as well. I think you will not see Caratini in an Astros uniform, going into spring training. I think he'll end up in Tampa or end up somewhere else where they need a starting catcher, and he'll be their everyday catcher. I just feel like, again, like you just saw them trade Dubon, because what was the point of having a $7 million utility guy? So it sucks. I like Victor Caratini. I thought he did a fantastic job every time we were ready to throw our controllers at the wall because Yainer Diaz would do something that we all hated. Caratini would come up and we'd be like, oh, well, at least we have Caratini. That dude's clutch. I just don't think that I just don't see it happening enough for the $7.5 million a year.
I would agree with that. And the one thing I will say, just to finish this out from my side, is that if you do sign Caratini, I think you're going to see a counter move after that, like we were talking about, like possibly a Walker trade or something else where an infield piece does get moved.
Yeah, you'd have to. I think you'd have to do that. If you're going to.
Yeah, I agree.
There's just no way. That's a good way to finish this thing, man. That's a good, a good little back and forth. But look, we're going to get out of here on that one, man. We're going to leave, we'll see what happens over the weekend. We'll be back on Sunday, normal time, for the weekend wrap up of hopefully some Astros new moves. If not, we're going to get into. Are we going to the next part? Maybe part 2.
Yeah, we can do the next part. It pretty much blends into what we've been talking about right now.
So Sunday will be part 2 of Ghost of Astros Present. Is essentially what we're going to go with. But until then, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Where's my producer? Supposed to hit the like and subscribe thing for me. There we go. Hit the like and subscribe for us.
There you go.
We're on TikTok now at Juicebox Heroes on TikTok. Is it at on TikTok? I don't know. I don't have it.
Yes, sir. Juicebox Heroes.
Yeah. So make sure you like and follow us, guys. Man, we appreciate everyone tuning in every week, and hope you guys have a great weekend. Army Navy this weekend. Go Army, beat Navy. Except for Chris is going to say the opposite.
It is Army Navy this weekend. Go Navy.
It is.
I'm Sweden.
I'm
neutral.
Yeah, you're neutral. Y'all guys have a great weekend, man. This is the Juicebox Heroes. I'm your host, PK. That's just Chris. That's Sweet Bee Bones Browse. You guys have a good rest of your week and weekend. We'll see you on Sunday.
Welcome.
Can't get no